Shall we start off with? I think we were talking about last time about fear, wasn't it? I was wondering why we don't ask fundamental questions and find an answer for them, not verbally, but in oneself deeply. Like jealousy, as we were talking about the other day, whether it can be wiped out completely. Or attachment or fear. And how shall we answer these questions when the students ask us? And should we encourage them to ask these questions? And can we answer them truthfully, whether it is possible or not to end jealousy completely, which never returns again? That's what we were discussing the other day. Or do we say, well, I am not free of it, but let's talk it over together and see if we can end it. And if we can end it, is that possible? I mean, is it possible to end it? That's what I mean. Well, sir, I don't know, this won't talk by me, so what do you say?
Student in front of you who range in age from 10 to 20. I think we must be careful not to put too big a burden upon the younger
children.
ones who
Quite
can't
right, sir.
really take it.
Quite right. Not to put too much of a burden on them. But I'm asking ourselves, amongst ourselves, as educators and so on, because what are we trying to do? What are we trying to do in this at Brockwood? Aren't we trying, if I may suggest, to awaken that intelligence which we were talking about the other day, which is that intelligence which sees something very clearly. Perception, action is intelligence. We said that. Seeing something very clearly and acting instantly is intelligence. And can we have that intelligence among ourselves first, and then convey it to the student? Come on, sirs.
It depends, I think, on seeing clearly our conditioning first. First we must see clearly our own conditioning, and that is where we seem blocked.
You see, then we get into this question. I don't see it clearly. How am I to see it clearly? How, and so on, endlessly talk about it. Now we are asking each other, if we see intelligence is action of immediate perception, can we do this? Are we doing it? Or is it all rather vague, unclear?
We intelligence is the action of immediate perception, and one would have to look at the perception, because you're saying that the intelligence necessarily follows
We,
the right
we
perception.
talked about that, what it means to observe,
Yes, so
what it means to see very clearly, without prejudice, without any distortion.
doesn't mean that to be perceptive, one has to be completely unconditioned.
I mean, when you want to see something clearly, you don't, if you want to see a picture, a painting, you don't go up to it and have all kinds of opinions about it. You look at it first. What is the difficulty in this? We've talked a great deal about this. The observer is the observed. I don't know if you're interested in all that. And action coming from that observation, which is not a postponement, in which there is no time element at all. Seeing that I am lazy or or jealous or whatever it is, attached, I'm attached to something, to see it very clearly that I am, all the implications involved in that perception, and end it. What do you see? What is the difficulty in this?
I think the difficulty is lack of clarity, because in the daily living one has in the school, one has things to think about, one has to talk to such and such a student, but to examine and see very clearly whether one is attached or not attached, sometimes it seems a little vague.
You mean you have too much to do outside? Gardening, teaching, looking after, so that your mind is so involved in that, and so you have no time to observe? Is that it? And so, then what is the problem?
Because one can observe in the doing of
Of course.
gardening or the
So
cooking.
what is the difficulty in this?
It seems that we color all of our observations with thought. We don't just observe or just perceive, but we have thoughts that distort or color it, change
You
it.
mean to say you can't observe your jealousy without any distortion? Distortion being suppression, and you follow all the judgment, trying to avoid it, trying to find excuses for it, just to observe it. Is that very difficult?
It seems so.
Why?
I think we're very quick to rationalize the jealousy.
Let's do it now, sir. We've got an hour and a half or an hour. Let's see if we can't observe jealousy or whatever one is attached to or whatever one has a problem about, to look at it.
Is there a reason for this, or do each of us have an individual reason?
Even individual reason, if you have your individual reason why you should be jealous, not to see that prevents clarity of observation, can't you put that aside?
One of the two possible things that may trip us up, and one would be the superficial say, oh yes, I'm jealous, and it's a verbal something
No,
that doesn't
no.
change. And the other is to say, let me look at the jealousy, and then get so involved in the emotional business, push and pull of the jealousy, that you just get in deeper. You don't see it objectively or see it as a whole, and change doesn't occur. You just get more miserable in the jealousy, more involved emotionally with it.
Now, can we do, now just let's do it now as an experiment. One is jealous. To look at it without any emotional, exaggeration or suppression or rationalization and all the rest of it, just to observe it. Is that possible? Isn't it possible?
The problem is to look at it without thought.
Look at it, do it.
But it doesn't seem to.
Huh?
It's only a word.
Must we go through all this?
I mean, it's not easy to suddenly waken up a jealous feeling that you just had or have had or something and make it really real.
Look, Miss Pratt, you know what jealousy is.
I wouldn't say I do, sir.
Huh?
I wouldn't say that I do.
You have been jealous?
I'm sure I have.
Then, you know the feeling of it?
I can't reconjure it easily.
Huh?
I can't reconjure it easily.
Oh, no, all right. Attached. Take something.
Attachment can cover so many things. So if we take attachment, we
All right, let's take attachment.
Yes, I agree.
All right, let's take attachment. Can you observe your attachment? Are you aware of your attachment? Can you observe it without any rationalization? Just to say, yes, I am attached. I am attached to that person or to that thing or to that belief or to an idea, a conclusion, whatever it is you are attached to. Right? Then, can you look at it? The person or the thing or the idea, and why you are attached to it.
Then attachment is immediately replaced by fear.
No, wait, why you see, go step by step, and then you jump. I don't want to jump. Go step by step. One is attached to that person or to that thing or to that idea, right? Can you look at it without any distortion? Distortion being involves judgment, prejudice, suppression running, all that. Just to observe it without any distortion. And does fear then arise? Or you suppose fear arises? You follow? You think fear arises. Or is that a fact? I am attached. Suppose if I am attached to this house, first I want to find out if I am really attached to it. What is involved in it? I am attached because if I am not attached to something, I may lose my identity. So I'm more concerned with my identity than with attachment. Because my desire for identity forces me to be attached to something. Or it may be I'm lonely.
That doesn't seem very clear. It seems clear that one is attached and one enjoys one's attachment.
Oh, if you enjoy it, all right.
You get security from it, but it doesn't seem very clear.
There is security. Those are all explanations. Security, enjoyment, possession, fear, loneliness, and identification, and so on. Now, those are all explanations. Now, can I look at it, my attachment to a belief, to a thing, to a person, without any of those things, just to observe? Then, how do I observe it? I am that. You follow? Observer is the observed. That's clear. Then I am that which I am attached to. Right? Now, to remain with that, without any movement of thought, just say yes. I am attached to that furniture, therefore I am that furniture. Right?
Are you saying there's the image of oneself and there's the image of the furniture?
No, sir. No, I'm not saying anything. Just I am attached to that furniture. I am that furniture. I mean, not when I am attached to something. I am that furniture. I am that table. Now, remain with that without any movement, to observe it without any movement of thought. Oh, sir. Can you do this? Of course one can. Huh? No? Then what happens? I am that furniture, I am that belief, or I am that thing, or that I am that person. I am that. And then what takes place? I have filled myself with that furniture, right? Right? If you want to go deeply into it, I've filled myself with the idea of the furniture, not the furniture itself, but the security I have in that furniture. Right? So if that furniture is taken away, my security is lost. So I'm frightened. Do I see this very clearly? Not verbally, but actually see it very, very clearly. That I am frightened when that thing which I am attached to, which has given me security, is taken away, or destroyed, or questioned.
Is it security, or is it some notion of pleasure? Because
whatever is pleasure, I already said that. Pleasure, security, pleasure.
Good in my own terminology that I get from it, something I feel I need.
Yes, that's need. Do I need? You follow? Go into it. I say I need attachment. Why? Is it like I need food? Or I think I need it.
Do I invest it with well-being and say I must have well-being, and it may be the furniture or the this or the that, but I need that sense of well-being.
Yes. Does well-being depend on your attachment to a furniture, to a house, to a certain conclusion? You accept that it will.
We invest those.
Yes, that's all. We invest we invest in that thing or personality, whatever it is, hoping that will give us a well-being. Now, after explaining all that, do you see when that thing in which you think will give you a well-being is taken away, the fear arises, or what actually it is?
For most of us here, I don't see that as a real problem.
Then what is the take a real problem? Then why did you let me go on all this?
Well, it's a beginning. It looks like a beginning to go into a deeper kind of attachment. I mean, most of us, I think, have far better taste in, say, clothes or automobiles than we can afford. But we don't let that dictate our lives.
What is the deeper problem, sir?
Well, I would say that we can get attached also to experiences, memories.
Of course. All that's involved.
You know,
When I
we have
use
a
it,
storehouse of things which we'll never forget.
Yes.
Unforgettable
right,
experiences.
sir. Include that. Include one is attached to one's experiences, memories, remembrances.
We do remember that.
Maybe remembrances
Even if they're very disagreeable, we're still attached to them.
to those things which are pleasurable.
The neurotic response
Oh,
is
neurotic.
so painful, but we're
All right. Are we aware of this? That's all I'm asking. Am I aware that my attachment is to the experiences that I have had and the remembrances of them, pleasurable or painful, and I'm attached because without them I feel lost. I'm attached to them because they give me a great deal of pleasure. I'm attached to them because I identify myself with them, therefore they give me security, and so on. I can give half a dozen reasons. Then, am I aware of all this?
Isn't the notion of the self involved? Because many of the painful ones we would, you'd think logically, would discard, but we can't.
No, I'm saying,
Because the sense
are
of
we
self is
aware of all this? Am I aware of them as clearly as I'm aware of you sitting there?
I'm also aware of a contradiction between what you're saying and looking, in that there seems a very strong separation between the furniture, between the images, and a sense of the self that's looking.
I don't quite follow this. Division, you mean? Not contradiction. Division
There
between.
seems to be a sense that there is me that is looking at the furniture.
Huh? I don't understand. Sorry.
There seems to be a sense that there is someone that is
Separate
separate
from looking.
Right.
But that's what we all right, we've been through that before. The observer is the observed. So is the thinker is the thought, isn't it? There is no thinking without thought. There is no thinker without all the thoughts that she has collected. So the thinker is the thought. That's clear. I mean, we don't have to beat that drum, have we? Endlessly.
But where the mind jibs at that is take away the thought and what's left? I'm gone. I don't exist.
I am just asking something. Please, let's be simple. One is attached for various multiple reasons. Pleasure, security, remembrances of experiences and holding on to them. Neurotic, if they are sad, and non-neurotic, if they are pleasurable, and so on. Are we aware of this whole business of attachment? That's all. Let's stick to that one thing. It may be very much deeper than all this, of which I am consciously I'm not aware. Right? Right, sir? Now, how do you explore the deeper levels of attachment? I may be aware of my attachment superficially, but deep down I may still be attached to something of which I am not conscious, of which I am not aware. Now, how shall I pull all this out? You understand my question? Now, I'm asking you, as a student, how do you do this? What is the... sir, you have told me not to be... I understand superficial attachments. But perhaps I may be very deeply attached to something I'm not aware of. Please tell me, what am I to do? Right, sir? You are in that position. Come, help me. I'm the student. What am I to do?
Luckily, no student will ask a question.
What?
Luckily, no student will ask.
I'm the student. Don't postpone it. I'm asking you. I want to learn from you.
What is the sense or the feeling that one does have attachments that are deeper? I mean, what is that intelligence telling you to look deeper?
I'm asking. I see, you have pointed out to me superficially certain forms of attachment, and many of them. And say, yes, sir, I'm a fairly intelligent student. And I say, yes, you haven't explained, there may be deeper attachments. Are there deeper attachments, sir? If there are, please explain, or I want to learn how to expose them, bring them out.
Explore the fact that all these separate attachments seem to lead to a common
Please,
root or
good,
trunk.
agree. Now go further. I want to know how I want to know. I am the student. Please explain to me.
Doesn't it come
You
down?
see, you are preventing the student to ask deeper questions. You're not encouraging me, the student, said, let's talk about, find out.
Well, then let's put it as a question then.
I have put...
No, I'm asking you, you're the student. Do you, in examining your own attachments, does it seem to you that there is some central attachment from which the others...
Maybe.
And what does that seem?
I don't know. Please, teach me.
Examine it.
I'm learning.
Can you examine it?
I want to learn. So please discuss it with me.
Well, we'll take
You do it. You're not a teacher here.
Can we perhaps follow one of these more obvious attachments and follow it right back
Follow
and
it,
see
sir.
what goes to?
I'm the student. Teach, learn. I want to learn.
Well, do we have an attachment to a self-image?
Yes, I have. I understand that, sir. I've found that I'm attached to my image, which my parents, because I'm fairly intelligent. I've heard all this before. I've attended Sanan talks. I've been here. I've done this. I've read few chapters or heard somebody talking about it, and I'm fairly intelligent. You encourage me to be more vital in this question. Don't put me off. I'm asking, so I understand all these things fairly well, perhaps intellectually, but verbally rather. I understand this. I've got a glimpse of it. And I'm asking you as an educator, please, I may be very deeply attached to something which may be hidden around the corner. I want to find out. Huh? What's your answer?
Well, it seems necessary that we keep very careful watch to see any hint of this deeper attachment.
What are you saying, sir? I'm asking something, you're saying something else. I'm sorry, I'm the student. I'm persisting on this. In this question.
There may be some hint, it's possible there may be some deeper attachment.
Please show me, help me.
Well, I don't know that I can help you.
So, have you asked this question to yourself, sir?
Yes.
Huh? What's your answer?
Well, I'm watching and I'm seeing if there is deeper attachment.
Is there? If there is, how did you find out if there is a deeper attachment?
Well, I was observing.
Huh?
You must observe. You must observe.
Yes, sir, I've observed. Look, sir, I've observed I'm attached to my memories. I've observed I'm attached to furniture, a house. We've been through all that. I've listened to you very carefully, and I want to understand this question very, very deeply. Which is, there may be some other or deeper attachment, and that may be the center of all attachments. As Mrs. Zimmeris pointed out, that could you help me to understand that thing?
Well, you start off by eliminating all the attachments that you're aware of.
I have. I don't know if I can eliminate it. I understand it. I'm trying to be free of my various now. I want, please, the deep one, the root one.
Well, you've been able to say to yourself, I'm attached to this. I realise I'm attached to this. What would happen if I was out without this? If you say, well, yes, I can get rid of that and so on, and go through the various things that you know you're attached to, then you're left. And if you'll still can say at the end of it, I'm still getting some feeling of security and pleasure, I don't know from what, then you're getting down to what it might be later, deeper.
So you're telling me that maybe that if I really get rid of the superficial ones, I may discover this deep-rooted, unconscious attachment. Is that what you're saying, sir?
It may take years to do that.
Huh?
Lifetime. It's like peeling an onion.
Yes.
It'll peel
So
that away. You'll be left with. I think that we've suggested that at other times that the process of how these attachments are formed, to
Yes.
see that once and for all clearly, is the nugget of the problem. That
So-
is, somehow, when something happens to us, an experience or seeing an automobile, there is that
recording in memory. In other words, it gets recorded. And you have to, the awareness has to be very clear at that point.
So I'm too young. I don't know. I've recorded. But you are asking me much more different question altogether. You are saying don't record at all. That's which we discuss at the meetings. Now, I'm a student here. Please answer my question. Please help me as Mr. Simmons has helped. I've understood.
As a student, do you see the necessity of getting to the root of this problem?
I do.
You do.
I don't understand it fully, but I want to get to the root of something.
You do, though. You do want to get to the root.
Root of, I do.
Now, do you think that this is a proper approach? Is this
I don't
worth looking
know.
at?
I don't know. I've listened to all of you. Mr. He says something, he says something. I am lost.
No, but how are you going to find out?
I don't know. You all must know.
All right, but how you recognize that it's worth doing?
I
Don't you?
recognize very well that it's worth doing because I see my parents are Catholic, and when they're to their attachments are shaken, they get frightened and get irritable with me. I've seen all that.
Now, if it's worth doing, what are you going to do about it?
So I say I want to be free of my attachments. I see the implication, not quite clearly, but I see the necessity of it.
Well, how are you going to do it?
Huh?
How are you going to do it?
I don't know, please teach me.
Well, how are you going to find out?
Because you are much older than I am.
You're going to find out by asking questions?
Asking questions.
You think that
Asking
You think that
questions,
asking questions-
together investigating, together pulling the plugs out,
together,
together.
or what question are you going to ask?
My question is, look, don't bring it all around. My question is very simple, which is, sir, since I have been here, I've heard these talks and discussions and what he has said, and I see I'm attached to my pleasure, to my ideas, to my experience, to my this, that. I'm very well aware of it. Wait, I see it very clearly. Not all the implications of it, because I'm too young, but I see the outlines of it. I'll fill up the details later. And my question is, sir, there must be a very deep-rooted attachment. If I can understand that, then all these things will have no meaning. It's like you are talking of branches. I want to talk about the root. And is there a root so hidden that by talking over with you, sir, and I want to learn about it, I may not be able to do it. I'm too young, but if you plant the seed in me, it will operate. Come on. My question is very clear.
To me, the deepest attachment seems to be to the self, or the self-image.
All right. If it is self, what do you mean by that? You can't just throw it out. I'm a student. You are teaching English. So you have to teach me this equally.
Well, all the ideas that we have about ourselves, the ideas that we like to have and we like others to have,
So
very
you are
attached to
saying
that.
to me, are you, that as long as you have an image about yourself, that may be the deep-rooted attachment. Is that it? Huh? You didn't say that, I'm saying it, and you agree.
Seems to me that at this point we're starting to explain something that we don't really understand. It's hard feeling.
So you teachers are not clear on this. right?
So when you have an image about yourself, it's implied, all right, take away the image and then there'll be the true self. You know, within the, I mean, even say an image of yourself, you say, all right, now I'll look at those images. But perhaps even in that language and voicing it that way, one creates an image that there is a self. That there is, take away the images and then there'll be the real you.
That's another image.
That's it, yes. Now, you see, now, I won't enter into that game. That's an old game that I have played umpteen years or million years. The real self. I say there is a bunk.
You say to a student, you have images about yourself.
I said, is that, I know, as a student, I'm asking you, is that the root of all attachments? Is that the trunk or the root that throws out all this? And if you can teach me to understand that, perhaps I should be free of all attachment, something new may come out of it. I don't know. You have listened to this poor chap for umpteen years. Tell me about it. Teach me.
To me, that seems to be at the root,
Which is that?
which is my attachment to myself.
Huh?
We could go deeper and find out what the self is.
Attachment to myself. Well, then I am asking, what is myself? Which you say I am attached to? I don't know.
Is it perhaps myself is a feeling that I exist, the feeling that I'm the center of the world, the feeling that my body, the feeling of my body, all these things, that's what makes me feel I am myself. Maybe that's quite an illusion.
So you are saying, I'm attached to my body. I'm attached to my senses. I'm attached to my ideas. I'm attached to my thinking. I'm attached to my images. Is that what you're all saying?
That's right.
Huh? Huh? All right. Then proceed. All right, I realize that, sirs. All right, then what? Do you also, as the teachers, realize this too, sirs? Or you tell me are you playing a game with me? I have a right to ask. You are the teachers. Do you realize, sirs, that you are attached to your body? Huh?
Yes.
So you are asking me to be free of my attachment to my body, whereas you have attached to your body.
No, we're not asking you to be free of it, we're asking you to look at it.
Yes. Have you looked at it?
We're looking at it.
No, have you looked at it? Don't say we are looking at it. Have you looked at it? Because you have learned mathematics, so you're teaching me mathematics, because you have gone into it. Or you're doing just now mathematics. Because the student is making you, putting you all the questions which you should put to.
But he's a bright student.
I am a bright student. I want all the students to be bright like that. I sent my son for that here.
Well, it's very difficult for us to look at our self-images because there's fear involved and insecurity.
Have you looked at, please tell me, sir, if you have looked at yourself. You're asking me to do it. Do you know what it means? Have you done it? You have played, you know a great deal about videotape, because you have studied it, you've gone into it. And so you can teach me about the videotape. Or you, in the same way, have you gone into this to teach me? Or you say, sorry, I haven't gone.
I've gone in far enough to see that there's fear involved.
Wait. Tell me how far. I want to walk the same way. Lord.
Well, as a student, you're asking, what you're suggesting is that I'm asking you to do something that I haven't done myself. So
Partly that.
Now I ask you, have you looked at yourself? Because that seems...
As a student.
As a student, have you looked at yourself?
I don't know quite, sir, what it means.
Well, then how can you ask...
I'm asking, I don't quite know what it means to look at myself. Because I vary myself when I'm playing football, I'm reading, I'm thinking about a girl, I'm watching, and it's all such a mess, conglomeration. It's like, wheels turning. Which wheel am I to look at?
I don't think it's a question of asking each other, the teacher, the student, and the student, the teacher, have you done it? But for both of them to be prepared to do it together.
I said that. Let's do it together. To do it together, you must know more. You must help me to do it together. But you're not.
That's what we're wanting to do now.
Do it. I'm the student. Don't put.
So you have this image, you're a student. So that's one thing you can look at. You have this image of we're a teacher, another thing to look at.
Look at. You say, look at yourself. You have to explain to me, because this is an idea which has just struck me. You have to explain to me which is myself. I seem to be so many selves. When I play football, when I eat, when I talk, the girl when I look at, the enjoy sky. You follow? Which is myself in all this?
Is there a sort of a guiding principle of all these roles that one
No,
plays?
I don't know. I'm asking you say to me, look at yourself. I say, I look at myself and I see, I'm all these things.
But don't you see that all those things are, in a sense, emanating from an entity that we think of as a self, which one may or may not at that point
you're saying
discuss
I'm...
whether that's a reality, but it has an active...
So you're saying I'm all these things, are you? Yes. Wait, that's all I want to know. I'm all these things. No.
But there may be a principal guardian. For instance, a boy on the football field may get intense pleasure when he's on the winning side. And he may get intense pleasure when he's thinking of a girl, and when he's eating something that he...
So I'm all that.
But then it's basically the same...
First, madam...
what he likes.
First, let me understand slowly. I'm all that. Then which is, in all that, which has the primary place? Which takes the most important part in all this? I don't know. You tell me. I'm asking you.
Isn't it the sense of myself as being the focus, as being the center? Isn't it the sense that I have of myself being the center in all of those activities?
Those activities indicate my various activities.
I'm sorry, I haven't understood you.
You say, sir, look at yourself. I look at myself and I see myself is such a varieties of activities.
Right, yes.
And I then ask you, which has the most dominant factor in all these activities?
Isn't it the process that creates all this variety?
Isn't all the many things aspects of the one thing?
What is that one thing? I agree, these are all the aspects of different facets of this one thing. What is that one thing?
It's the feeling that I am the center of the world.
What is that?
It's the feeling that I am the center of the world.
No. You haven't understood what I said. Sorry, sir.
So are you asking what is guiding me in all those activities?
Guiding me,
What is pushing
or,
me towards?
or from which all these things take place,
In search for pleasure.
a center from which all these things act. What is that?
I would say search for pleasure too. I seem to go towards what gives me the greatest pleasure.
You say pleasure, see, somebody else fear, somebody else says something else, which I'm lost.
Well, actually, isn't it the same thing? There's pleasure and there's pain. We search
I
for
don't
pleasure.
know, sir. I'm new to all this game that you have been playing for 5 years.
Well, I think it's necessary to look then. and see.
I'm looking.
Aren't you in fact searching for pleasure? Most of the day? And avoiding pain?
Maybe.
Well,
All right.
And he says, aren't you too?
Huh?
Then the student says, aren't you too?
I won't. I'm coming a little late. I'm just new. I won't be impudent right off at the beginning. So you have left me dry.
was that dry?
Yes. With a lot of words.
Pursuing with the student in terms of pointing out examples. Many of the times young people, sometimes we were thinking the difference between almost a young person and an adult is that they don't press on. When something begins not to be fun anymore, they don't carry on with it.
I don't press on. That is because I've been trained, or I don't know how to push. Help me to push. Help me to dig deeply.
To dig deeper, one has to acquire a sense that perhaps there is a sphere beyond pleasure and pain.
I don't know.
I know, but for most adolescents, their experience with the world and what have you has told them that they don't see anything else but their own self-pursuits.
Please, all right, let me put it. What are the adolescents interested in most?
Pursuing pleasures of the self.
Pleasure. Huh? Right?
Fun, yeah.
Huh?
Fun. They want to have
Fun, which is pleasure. All right. Huh?
Painted a dark picture of adolescence.
And you're saying, look at your pleasure. And I say, right, sir, I look at it. What's wrong with it? I like it. I have fun in very. What's wrong with it? And you say, dig deeply. I'm asking, I'm digging. What's wrong with it? My God. Give on.
The mechanical, for instance, showing the student that how his reaction to a favorite food or something, you can almost predict what he's going to do, and how mechanical it becomes, pursuing pleasure in it. And from there one might explore the whole question of does one want to live a mechanical life? I think perhaps that's a way that a 16 or 17-year-old might have some understanding of what it means to be mechanical. And is there perhaps something besides this?
I don't know. Show me, help me, teach me. I want to learn.
Yes, but if you do point out the mechanistic aspects of this,
Wait, my lady, I want to learn. So you are saying what? Teach me. You are saying there's something more than pleasure. More than pleasure.
The implication of pain always in...
Huh?
The implication that pain must accompany...
I don't know.
Isn't it? It's not so much that there is something more, but isn't it rather clear if you look closely at pleasure that it's integral with pain, it can't be separated from pain, and this movement between
So,
pleasure and pain is
Mr.
very
Jenkins, you are saying pleasure breeds fear. Huh? How do I have pleasure without fear? That's what I'm searching for.
But if it's not fun to go into that, I won't begin.
That's what I'm asking.
Right, but it's no...
It's fun for me to find out if I can separate the two and hold this down and go after pleasure.
But that's what you're doing anyway.
You're still pursuing fun now, you see.
Of course I am. So, wait a minute, sir. I still want pleasure without fear.
But that's what you're doing anyway.
I'm doing it. And you're saying, look out, at the end of it, you're going to have a mighty fall in fear.
Well, don't you think that might be the case?
Maybe, therefore, tell me how to avoid one and hold on to the other.
But you can't.
So, you're saying you can't. Right, teach me. I've learned, I think you have done it. So I say I'll accept that for the moment, till somebody else comes around and contradicts that.
Yes, but I don't quite understand why you're accepting it. I mean, each time you look at it, I'm saying, can you see it? Do you see
I'm learning, sir, I'm learning.
But
I'm
it's
learning.
not to accept.
I'm learning that the two cannot be separated.
You see that?
I'm learning. My mind is still hankering after pleasure. And there is always now I've learned that even though I pursue pleasure, fear is always coming behind, shadow. But yet my mind is pushing me in the direction of pleasure. So I'm aware of this game. Then how am I to deal with this pleasure and fear? What am I to...
One can watch it.
Huh?
With that verbal understanding or feeling.
No,
maybe
it's not a verbal understanding. I smell it, I taste it, I have a slight glimpse of it.
You've seen it work. You've seen it working in your own.
Yes, I see a glimpse of it. Now, help me to push deeper. You ask deeper. Push me in. Don't leave me with that thing and say, well, find out and go walk off. How am I, who have discovered this thing from your talk, that the two are always together? Like the shadow and they are always together. But my feelings, longing is to pursue pleasure and avoid the other. And you have shown me or planted a seed, the two must inevitably go together. Do what you will. I say yes, I'm beginning to see that because I found that out this morning. Then further, please push me further.
Well, how do you look at this?
I look at it, and I look at that tree. I look at it as though I see that myself like that.
You see?
I see myself doing this, pursuing, and pleasure and shadow comes along fear. I've captured that, don't rub that in. That's finished.
There's an entity looking at these past...
What?
There's an entity that's looking at these past activities, running after pleasure and avoiding pain.
Yes, I see that, yes.
Well now, isn't that entity that's looking at the past activities, isn't that still holding on to the activities?
No, I want pleasure and avoid pain. That's my pursuit. And now I've learned You have shown me slightly that the two are inevitable. Two go together, black and white. They go together. You're asking, how do you look at it? Is that it? How are you aware of it? I don't know. I see it. I don't know how I'm aware of it. I know, it's so.
But aren't you still aware of it from a center?
I don't know. Show me.
What is it that's looking at that thing?
Huh?
What is it would you say, is looking at that?
What are you all doing with me?
I'm trying to answer your
Throwing bricks at me? Stop throwing bricks at me and find out what to do with me. I've come to a certain point and you don't help me to go further.
Well, we're suggesting that you try to look at what that central thing is. That seems to have
Do you
seen
do the
something
same?
as- Yes.
Huh?
Yes, I think
How do you do it? And what do you mean look at the center?
in the very way that
What?
we're examining now, which is to try to see what is behind these things. Is there something back of the impulse?
I don't know.
No, but we can look at it.
I can look. I don't know, I'm saying. I don't know.
Well, it isn't a matter of knowing, is it? Perhaps none of us
I,
knows.
to
but
me,
we
I
can-
don't know. There may be nothing or maybe something.
Well, that's worth. Is that to you worth examining? Perhaps there will be nothing.
I don't know how to examine something of which I'm not aware of.
Or could you look at the example of
You're
pleasure?
all being damn clever. So am I.
Could we say that we started with pleasure and we came to...
You're missing my point.
Yes, yes.
You
But
you
we
are
did
Then I
trying
think
to
you've
ask.
gone further than that.
I'm a brighter student.
But we did discover that fear was behind pleasure and pain. Can't we now start looking at what is behind the fear?
I
How
don't.
the fear
Yes,
moves?
I know nothing about what is behind fear. You're asking me to look at something I don't know.
Can't you look at a fear? What is the quality? What is the action of that fear? Can you describe it to us?
I'm frightened. I'm frightened of not passing exams. I'm frightened of my parents, what they might say to me. I'm frightened of my future. I say, my God, look at, I may never have a job. I may lose everything. I know all that. But to go beyond that, I don't know.
Can't you examine what is being wounded in that or threatened in that? What is the
I'm just
central
frightened.
thing you're protecting?
Yeah, please, I'm just frightened. Don't say to look beyond.
Look at in that, can you look at that fear and see what is in the middle of it?
I'm just frightened, paralyzed. Maria, you're not answering my question. You say, look into. I'm just frightened. You people playing games.
What do you mean when you say you're frightened?
Don't you know what it means to be frightened? When you're paralyzed, and you put me in this position now that I'm frightened. I'm frightened of my future. I'm frightened of this and that. You have given me real fear now, that I might lose my pleasure.
But you have a sensation.
Don't talk to me about it. I'm frightened. And you say, look behind it and see if something behind. I don't know how to look behind something which I don't know.
Well, let's look at the fright itself.
Huh?
Let's stay on the fright then.
You're frightened of something.
I give up.
Are you not?
You're not answering my questions.
I'm a student in Brockwood, or you are. It's very comfortable here, it's very secure.
Yes, I don't want to leave
You're
here.
leaving.
I don't want to leave here. You've been very kind to me. Somebody cooks my food, somebody, etc., etc. I don't want to leave. I'm frightened if you throw me out. So, and you say to me, look behind that fear.
Look at that fear.
I know, I'm looking at it. I'm fully aware of the beastly thing. That one day, Mrs. Simmons and all of you say, sorry, you have passed your exam, old boy, out.
I don't think you are looking at it, though. I think you're hanging on to it.
I'm frightened, sir.
Well, perhaps one should explore the question of security.
Huh?
The question of security.
I have been secure here. And I want you to assure me that there is security outside. That's what I want.
Yes, that's what you want. In fact, there isn't.
So you are saying there is no security here nor out there. Huh?
Security here is.
Huh?
There is security here in that we tried to make a nice home.
America face the fact that there is no security here nor out there.
But when someone is frightened, they can't see that.
Yes.
Now,
So
maybe what we're saying here is that driving a person to that point of fear, it's a blockage. The person is blocked, and we're blocked in communication.
So please don't drive me to that point which you have done me, which you have driven me to.
But this student brought that about.
What?
He brought it rather on himself.
What?
The student in question brought it on himself by his questioning.
My
point is to the student.
Of course I brought it on myself. My parents shouldn't have brought me at all. They shouldn't have slept together to bring me in this beastly world.
A student that cannot begin to look at this would not have asked those questions and wouldn't have gotten those replies.
I have no security here and I have no security out there. And I suddenly realize what you have told me is true. And I get scared. Don't tell me how do you look at it properly, is there a center, is there this? I'm scared. How do you deal with that?
Well, one thing is not to be frightened by that fear.
Well,
I mean, I'm not frightened by your fear. I mean,
I am
realize
frightened.
what's
My
the root of
dear
that.
sir, you may not be frightened, but I am frightened. I'm scared stiff, saying I came here and I've lived here for 4 years and I've found marvelous security, comfortable, lovely place and all the rest of it. I feel at home and I'm going to be thrown out, pass exam, leave the place, and I'm frightened. Deal with that fact.
But are we saying now, I mean, it may be, just looking, it may be impossible to deal with that fear while the person has that fear.
I have got that fear.
We have to find some way.
I'll say to you, you are the teachers. I'm learning. You are learning together, but you are merely making a statement. I want to learn from you. I see that I have security here, which has been very pleasurable. Occasionally we are frightened, all the rest of it, but it has, on the whole, I'm safe here. And I'm going to leave day after tomorrow. I'm nervous, anxious. And the world is, I know very well, my parents have lost their job. My parents are divorced. My parents don't care a damn what happens to me. And so on, I'm frightened. So deal with that fact.
Well, perhaps the question that we have to look at is whether this fear that you have, is it something that you're just going to let get covered up?
Oh, no, I'm too young. Don't play all those games with me.
So
I am frightened. Deal with that fact, sir. I'm frightened.
Well, are you interested in dealing with this fear?
What a question to ask when I'm scared. Are you interested in it? I've got a toothache, and you say, well, are you interested in toothache? I say, of course I'm interested.
You're interested in...
I'm blazing pain. You awaken my intelligence up to a certain point, right? That there is no security here, that there is no, up to a point. But you don't make it flower. You have left me with that point. I don't know what to do with it. Huh? Now, shall we reverse the tables? You are the students, I'm the teacher. That's much better, isn't it? Are you scared, sir? Are you frightened? When you know there is no security out there, there is no security here. Are you frightened? Then, let's proceed. Thank God. Shall we? Huh? I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you.
I don't see it. I just want to get rid of it.
I will do it.
No.
Well, my dear chap, it's like saying, I've got a toothache, I won't go to the dentist. I won't do anything about it. Then, my dear chap, sink in it. Then sink in it. Wallow in it.
I just want to have fun.
And that's not an intelligent, no, come off it.
But I mean, that's a fear response. That's the real response.
No, it's not. You're putting it on. If you've got a wait a minute, sir. If you've got a violent toothache, would you say, well, I've got toothache, and pain, and not do anything?
I wouldn't.
Huh?
I may not brush my teeth. You see what I mean?
You're avoiding my question.
I mean, but we frankly don't get people that sit in front of us that are shaking and quivering with fear. We don't get them. I mean, it's quite a
You said
situation.
you're frightened.
I'm frightened, all right. But my fear prevents me from listening even.
Then don't listen.
It doesn't actually.
And that's it then.
After finish, then don't listen.
But that's not true. It doesn't prevent you from listening actually, does it?
And then they just play.
No, but I mean, at the moment.
I think it does, yeah.
I
mean,
give up.
I think it distorts. Fear distorts.
Do you mean to say you're so frightened just now that you can't listen?
Of course he can. He's just...
Alone, it's so painful and awful to be frightened.
That's
They don't recognize.
No, but when you have very painful, you say, for God's sake, give me some pill, take me to the doctor.
We're dealing with actualities now, aren't we?
What?
Well, let's say.
I won't play games, let us say.
Well, I mean, there is a certain danger in asking one person to pretend or take the point of view. You know, I'm not a student, in a sense, and you're not a student. You know, for the first hour and a half, you're not a student. You weren't frightened. So, I mean, we're getting in a pretend situation.
I put myself purposely as a student in order to, how you will help the student to awaken to his fears.
We understand that.
That's all. And don't leave him there.
Well, are you asking us directly, are we, each one of us, afraid at the moment? If so,
Yes.
we have to say no.
Not at the moment. For God's sake, don't become ridiculous.
Yes answer to proceed with the dialogue. So let's assume we all know what fear is.
You don't remain with fear. Find out. Go into it. If you say, but sorry, I'm not interested in it, I just want to get rid of it, you won't even take the trouble to get into the car and go to the dentist. I say, well...
The student asked, and show me how to go into it. I don't know how to go into it.
I'll show it to you. Will you listen? Will you take the trouble, as you took the trouble to learn physics, will you take the trouble to go into this? Give as much energy in.
I don't know. I mean, what you may say may frighten me.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So, first, you find out. Get into the car, go to the dentist. It may be the rotten dentist, so it's sorry, then I won't go there. Take me to the other one. At least you must do that. Not just sit indoors, I've got pain.
So you say you must take action.
But I mean, but you haven't done that yourself. You haven't gone through fear yourself.
That was entre nous. That's biographical notes. Don't suppose you.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, as a teacher, a student says to you, but you haven't gone through fear yourself. I mean,
no,
how do I know that? How do I know that what you're going to suggest to me to do?
I don't know.
It's just going to distort me more. It's going to be more trouble.
But find out first. Listen to what I have to say and find out. Use your own intelligence to find out. That's quite right. No?
Well, my intelligence tells me that if you haven't done it yourself...
No, that's not the point. I shouldn't ever have told you then.
If you can't do it yourself, what good is the prescription?
I know. I have watched it. I've seen fear around me, and I've listened to fears of many thousand people. I know how to deal with it.
You're still in fear, though.
Huh?
You're still in
Of course not. I would be damn fool if hypocritical, if I said I still fear and I'll teach you how to be free of fear.
That's what Joe's saying.
Huh?
In confronting the student might question, well, how can I get through fear when you haven't yourself?
That's the whole point.
So what you're also saying is that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So
What?
there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, if you want to walk through the tunnel, there is.
You're also saying that a person who hasn't gone through fear has no business talking about fear.
The implication.
Yes, but I think we missed a point. Krishnaji said
What
earlier,
the-
we're reversing the tables.
Cat.
Yeah, but he reversed it twice. He switches back and forth between being Krishnamurti and being, a teacher.
But right now, isn't it so, Krishnaji, that you're the teacher and we're the students? Can you talk about fear?
A teacher in the sense, in a class, no more than that.
So are you going to teach us about fear?
No, I say, you know fear. I don't have to teach you about fear. But I'll point out the way to be completely be free of fear. If you are interested, tread it and find out. If you are not, well, it's all right. I shan't weep over you. If you are not interested, it's all right, you're not interested. But if you are really interested in having your pain removed, I said, do these things. Huh?
I'll listen to you.
You listen to me. How will you listen? I'm not going to waste my energy on you. If you say, well, I just listen casually and find out if anything you're saying. I want to know how you listen. I have a right to know.
With energy, come on.
I don't ask him. He's answering. How do you listen?
No, I see the point. I mean, I think we all see the point. But
If you see the point, let's move next.
But does a student who's in fear at that time, I don't know if they can see that point.
I don't think they can at that moment when they're scared stiff. But you say, hold on a minute, we'll talk about it tomorrow. You're not like that.
But, I mean, it's obvious that if you start talking about anything that's not fear, listening, as an example, if I start paying some attention to the question about listening, then I'm not in fear and you've got me out of fear.
No,
But it's
that's only temporary. That's only temporary.
Right,
That's only momentary. I'm talking of being completely free of fear, not momentary cessation of fear? Are you willing to listen to find out? If you are, then we'll proceed. Then we have established communication. Our minds are together then. Right? But if you say, well, show me first and then I'll do it, then we'll break off. But when you say, together we are now in communication, so that our minds, our brains are working together. Right? Right, sir? That you are...
That requires you to listen in the same way.
Huh?
That requires you to be listening.
Of course, I'm listening to you very carefully. So we are doing it together. Our brains are working together. That's the first thing when we are listening. So we are in communication. When we discuss or have a dialogue, our minds are not in communication. Because then you are thinking for yourself and questioning and all the rest of it. Here, we are both of us want to find out, go into it, explore the whole thing. So our brains are communicating with each other. So there is no me and you battling about it. Right?
Is there fear then?
I don't know. I said, we've established communication first. Right? Then, you must carefully pursue this together. Not go off and then come back again. We must keep at the same level all the time. Now,
together also means that neither of us know where it's going.
what?
That neither of us know what's at the end of this. That there is no end to this communication. Where we begin, but you don't know. I mean, you have no conclusion as to what.
No, but we both are seeing, we both are in communication to find out if it is possible to be free of fear completely. Right? So.
But sitting there, don't you know that it is possible?
What?
Do you know that it's possible?
For myself, I know completely it is possible. Not for you.
Then how can there be a communication?
Of course there is communication. What are you talking about?
I mean, see, there's no risk for you.
It's not a question of, we're not talking about risk.
I mean, there's no risk
No,
for you.
no,
You
no,
don't
Mr.
think
Joe,
that you're going to find out
you're not
something
being
new.
logical. You're not being...
No, I'm not. I think, I'm not trying to be clever here. I'm suggesting that, in a dialogue...
It is not a dialogue. I made it perfectly clear.
Well, I'm using...
I made it perfectly clear. Moment it's a dialogue, there's a separation between your brain and my brain. But when we are communicating together over something, we are both thinking about that, watching it. Therefore, we are in constant communication.
The point that Joe is stumbling at is the point that, in actuality, you do know there's a lie.
That's not the point. We are not concerned. I said to you from the...
the communication or the exploration.
We are both together in exploring this fact, whether it's possible to be free or not.
You're saying that you don't know whether it's possible for us to be...
That's not the point, so you're missing the whole point.
Well, the point is, can you explore something you know already?
You see, I may know it, but I'm trying to tell you something. We are in communication. That's all I'm saying. Not do I know already that I'm free of fear. That we are not talking about that. You introduced that. We are establishing communication first. Right? Not whether you are free from fear or I am free from fear.
I think he wants the dentist to have toothache.
Huh?
I think he wants the dentist to have toothache.
No. I'm only one. This is so simple.
To have a communication, both of us have to be free from a conclusion.
We're both investigating fear, not conclusions or anything. Fear. Your people. I will stick to this. We must establish communication. And communication ceases when there is a dialogue or questioning. But when we are thinking, when we are concerned about the same thing, we can then, both of us are in communication because we are looking at the same thing. Right, sir? Dr. Baum perhaps will explain that much more. Psychologically or scientifically, this is what I find. The moment dialogue or discussion takes place, there is a breakage of communication. That's all. Would you?
Would be better to. So the question is, well, you're inquiring into something, which is whether people in general can be free of fear, not just one person. Would you put the question that way?
Put the question that way.
Saying that perhaps you have discovered that one person can be free of fear, but then there's no reason why it couldn't be universal. And now the question is, can we inquire into whether anybody could be free of fear, including any person who's in communication?
You see, we are not in communication. That's what I'm objecting. Yes.
But I meant that one of the reasons for us it's not clear to Joe what the question is. You see, that's maybe why the communication is not getting started.
He's questioning, if you are free, what the devil do you mean by not having a conclusion? You have already concluded.
That's the question he's raising.
But I say leave all that aside, but be in communication and examination. That's all.
The only question I think that I can feel we can communicate on is to communicate on the question is, am I free from fear?
All right, put it if you want.
Yeah, but that would require you asking the question again. I mean, in the way that someone asked you, are you in a rut? You can't say, I'm not in a rut. You have to look at it.
I did.
You did. Now it seems to me that we could inquire again.
But we must be in communication. That's all I'm talking about.
I'm suggesting that the communication is blocked on your end.
What?
That's blocked on your end. That you're not choosing. You're not looking at this in a way in which you don't have doubt. In other words, you have to. That if you say this is it, and I'm going to reveal it to you, there's no communication.
Of course not.
You have to not be attached to that.
To my freedom from fear. I said I'm willing to examine it. Right. You see, I said that right from the beginning. I'm willing to examine if I have any fear left, or if there is fear. Right. Which means both.
Now you may find out that you have fear, you see. Possible.
I said I'm willing to, don't bring that in, repeat that. I'm willing to look at fear, if I have. Right. So both of us start communicating with each other. We are in communication with each other because we are both concerned with fear. Both you and I and all of us, generally, if we are afraid. Now, that is, we are not having a dialogue.
And neither of us know if we have fear.
I'm established, sir. We both are frightened. For God's sake, don't repeat it. I may find out I'm frightened, right? And you may find out you are frightened. So we are inquiring together about fear, right? Therefore, both are in communication. And that communication comes to an end the moment we enter into a dialogue about it. That's simple enough.
I was saying that if we start to think for ourselves about it separately, then we're no
Yes.
longer communicating.
Can we proceed from there? Huh? So, we are not having a dialogue, we are not having a discussion, we are together investigating fear, which I may find that I am frightened, and I'll go into that. So I don't start with the idea I'm free from fear, and therefore I'm established, etc., etc., etc. Is that very clear? Right. My goodness. So, I want to find out what is fear. I said I'm frightened, or I'm not frightened. But first, I must find out what is fear. Right? What is fear? In communication, no dialogue. What is fear? Which we both inquiring into fear. So, what is fear?
Well, fear seems to be accompanied with certain physical phenomena. I mean, sweating and nervousness.
A kind of slow paralysis, shrinking, a nervous response, and all the rest of it. That's only symptoms of it, right? Now, further, what is fear? Apart from the shrinkage and nervousness and sweating and all the rest of it, a slow paralysis, what is fear? The word. Is it fear the word?
No, it's a referent to...
don't discuss it. We are looking at, is fear the word? Right? Does the word create fear? Or is there fear without the word?
The sensations are obviously unpleasant, but you don't want to stay with the sensation.
We'll come to that. You see, you've gone off. And we are inquiring. So I'm inquiring, you are inquiring, which is, I want to find out if the word creates fear, or does fear exist without the word?
Without thought.
Without the word first. And then I inquire, what is the word the thought? So, word, thought, creates fear. Is that it?
Is that wrong?
But there is, I mean, there can be fear of physical situations.
I understand that.
So that we're not talking about that fear.
No. For the moment, we're not talking biological fears. We're talking about psychological fears.
You're talking about imagined fears.
Imagining, not imaginative, actual fears that take a sudden realization that I have no security here and there is no security there and I'm frightened. That affects both biologically and psychologically. So I say, we are in communication about fear. So we are saying, is it is the sensations which I feel when there is fear, is it the result of words plus thought, or word thought, or is there that sensation without the word thought?
I'm not clear on this. Are you referring to thought in general? I think the fear is not the realization that there is no security, but fear that I may fail the exam. Or something.
There may be fear by itself, you mean,
That I may fail
without
the exam.
any cause.
No, there is an exam and I might fail it. I'm afraid. I'm intention.
Huh?
I don't realize that there is no security. I don't understand when you say there is fear of the word fear.
So, we'll go into that. Look, I'm frightened. Is that fear caused by thought which says I'm going to face an insecurity now? You follow? Thought which says there is no security here, there is no security there. Therefore, thought plus the image of the word creates the fear. Right, sir? We are in communion?
Well, when there is real insecurity for food, shelter, and clothing, then the energy that's released upon that recognition seems to be proper. No?
Yes.
I mean, you've got to do something about it.
That's what we are doing.
So that when you use the word insecurity,
We use the word insecurity like boy.
what is insecurity to what? Not to physical.
That may be.
Well, then what's wrong with that fear?
No, even that I may find when I get there. Actually, I will do something. When I leave here, where I've been secure and thrown out there, if there is no thinking, imagining the word future, what will happen, I will then do something when I get there. But the projecting, thought projecting what might happen causes fear. This is simple, that is thought plus word, creating the image, brings fear. Or is there a fear without all thought, word and image? We are in communication.
Other than the recognition of danger,
What?
there seems to be no possibility for fear.
No. So what then is, if there is no, the word, thought, image is non-existent, then what is left? Nothing? Why do you say nothing? I'm not discussing. I want to find out when your examination may be right. What do you mean by nothing?
The word can produce a sensation, but if there's no word,
So
there's no sensation.
So what then what?
There's no sensation.
No, there is sensation in the sense, I might be left out there, cold.
Well, there's a sensation of cold, but
Yeah.
not a sensation of
Therefore,
fear.
let's be clear.
Right.
So the word, thought, image has brought fear. Right? So can my brain, my whole structure, be free of word, thought, image?
Can I go back for a second? Just sometimes there is a kind of fear that happens when you hear a sudden noise or you walk and and there's an animal suddenly.
I'd like
And this, okay, I noticed this happens usually, but sometimes you can stop it very. I want to ask if it's not clear to me where thought is here because it's instantaneous, but sometimes it doesn't happen.
So, when you're walking along and suddenly an incident, a tiger or something happens, your body shakes and nervous, and that's self-protection, that's not fear.
But it's based on a notion of danger that's
Of course,
in mind.
your body knows there's dangerous, and so that's not fear, that's intelligence, say, save yourself. Biologically, that's the right response. Huh? So there is no fear if there is no word, thought, image. Is that right? Communication. Right. Now, next question is, can the mind, can our brain be without the word, thought and image? Or word, thought, image play such an extraordinary important part in our life. Huh?
It's plays such an extraordinary part that there's no other space.
No. Just be simple. That no space. We're not talking about space or anything. We're saying word, thought, image creates fear. Apart from the sudden shock, biological, sudden, when a dog jumps at you, that's purely, that's nothing. So we are saying, being in communication with each other, with all of us, which is not having a dialogue or a discussion, but investigating. We see word, thought, image creates fear, as it creates pleasure too, which leave that for the moment. Can the brain, can we be free, the mind free of the word, thought and image? If it cannot be free, fear will always go on.
The brain already has stored in it certain patterns of brain activity that lead to those thought patterns, projecting futures.
So we discover how mechanical the brain is, right? Can that mechanism stop for a while? Stop. Not always word, thought, image. So then question is, if it cannot stop, as apparently most people it cannot, fear will continue. Huh? So, deeper question is, can this whole mechanistic movement of the brain quiet down? Which means much deeper. Why does the brain always operate in this way? Is it habit? Is it habit? Is it our education? Accumulating knowledge mechanically? You follow? Is it?
Well, that's how the habit is set up,
yes. Yes, so it's habit. Can habit come to an end instantly? not carry on. If you carry on, it becomes another habit. Right? I don't know if you see that. So can habit come to an end? If it cannot, back in the whole process of fear.
The habit contains words which lead to fear.
Yes. Words,
And the fear,
repetition, or the mechanical process.
so it's quite a knot.
I've discovered something enormously important, which is if habit doesn't end instantly, but saying, well, I'll get rid of it in 10 days' time, that becomes the habit. Right? Postponement becomes the habit, to which we are educated. Right? So, my then deeper question is, can this habit end?
So if that's the case, we have to be actually looking at fear now.
No. I've passed beyond all that, sir. Oh, gone beyond. You are supposed to be looking at it as we're going along. We are in You see, you are not in communication. You are not. Forgive me for repeating it. You are not in communication. You are going on with your own thinking. You are not in communication, therefore you raise that question. If you are in communication altogether, you would then go on every step along with us. We explained the biological sudden incidents which are like a dog jumping at you, or suddenly underfoot a branch breaking on you with a shock. Those are all biological responses which are not fear, which are merely bodily responses. That's natural, healthy. But we are talking of psychological fears. Fear, we said fear is thought, word, thought, and image. Can that process stop? That process is mechanical, and therefore it is habitual, right? We are still in communication, habitual. I said, why does the brain always repeat? Because part of our education, etc., is mechanical. Now, can that mechanical thing stop instantly? Not take time. If it takes time, it becomes a habit. You and I have discovered that. Wait. We are in communication, not in dialogue. We'll come to that later, but we have established through communication this fact. The fact, word, thought, image. Brain functions that way, mechanically. It's part of our habit, right? This mechanistic process, habit. Now, if that habit doesn't end instantly, and we say, well, I'll take time over it and go on with it for the next 2 weeks, that becomes the habit. Right?
Stop.
What?
It's not clear that the habit can stop.
Of course, both the same. Of course.
He didn't say that, Krishnaji. He said it's not clear that the habit can stop.
No, I beg your pardon. No. We've come to the point in our investigation, being in communication over investigation. We have come to the point together where we have discovered for ourselves that word, thought, image inevitably will bring fear. And as long as this mechanical process goes on, which has become a habit, fear will go on. Then we said, can habit end, this thinking this way, which is habit, can that end instantly? It can, when we see what habit does. When we see the danger of habit. Right? Do you see the danger of habit? Huh?
Up until that point.
Up to that point, good.
Up to that point.
Now, wait. Do you see the danger of it? Do we see the danger of it?
I see the result of it, fear.
Fear, which is dangerous.
We have to go into that too.
Oh, I mean, obvious. It's danger in the sense you can't function properly. You're living in sweating paralysis. It's a danger. It's a danger. So, do we see in our examination that thought, that habit is the most dangerous thing, which is mechanical? You follow? If you see the danger, it's ended. So fear can come to an end. Logical in examining it, right?
It's logical up to the last point.
What do you mean?
If you see the danger, then it ends.
Of course, if you admitted in communication that fear is dangerous.
Why doesn't it end?
No, because you don't see the habit that has made you, that has prevented you from seeing the danger. See, yes, I'm afraid, I'll suppress, I will run away from, that's all mechanistic responses. But in communication, we see together that word, thought, image creates fear, and fear is, we say, is dangerous, right? Right? Do you see the danger of fear? You said yes just now. Huh?
Yes, we see the danger.
Wait, see the danger? Wait, do you see the danger? We are investigating, don't dialogue, we are investigating. There is fear when the fear is the dangerous thing. You admitted just now.
We do see the danger of fear, but
Wait, I'm coming to the...
it hasn't ended.
Because you don't see it.
Right, that's what you say. We say we see it, and you say we don't see it.
Of course you...
But you're asking us to
There's
then
the block.
look at
No.
in order to see the danger.
It's the habit that's preventing you from seeing the danger. Full stop.
What's
It is the habit that's preventing you from seeing the tremendous danger of fear.
What's preventing us from seeing the habit?
What does it prevent you? Because you are moved off from communication. I mean, you are moved away from communication. You haven't followed step by step. You went off at an end.
Where did we go off?
I said, when I said, do you see in the investigation that habit is dangerous thing, you wandered away. Keep to that one thing. That is, sir, look, let's begin again, investigating. We said we are investigating fear together. I said, I may discover I may have fear. I'm not saying I'm, I'm looking into it. In investigating, I'm watching it myself, I'm doing it actually. I'm not fooling you. I'm not interested in fooling you. I see word, thought, image breeds fear, which is thought process breeds fear. And the brain operates always in this way, routine, in a rut, right? That rut is established, is habit. Right? Up to now, very clear. As long as that habit, which is word, thought, image, is mechanical, there must be fear. Right? Is that clear?
It's clear.
Wait, clear. You are investigating. You are investigating in yourself, not out there. I'm investigating, and I say, I don't know, I may be frightened. I say to myself, word, thought, image. Is my brain caught in this process? Right?
I think it's clear, but it's the depth of it. You know, there's an implication that there's a tremendous.
Because you're not investigating.
I mean, when you do investigate, it's a tremendous knot. I mean, it's complicated. It's not a simple thing.
No, it's not.
When you talk about the habit of maybe brushing your hair, that's relatively trivial. But when the habit is the habit of projecting a future state and evaluating and deciding your actions to bring about that imagined possibility, with all the implications of self in there, that's a different kind of habit. It involves everything. If you drop a relatively trivial habit, you're left with not much change.
No, that means you have not investigated. You have investigated out there something, a picture, but you are not investigating directly. These are all details. What you just now said, they're all details. But the basic thing is image, thought, word, thought, image. That's the basic thing. And from there I say, I see that is my brain caught in that routine.
Now this communication is a very special thing, and you haven't got the time to go to do this with me or with anyone.
I've done it now. We have taken.
When you say we haven't gone into it deeply, there's an implication that we should do our homework.
No, we are doing it now.
But it's only superficial. Like you
No,
say,
it's not superficial. You have made it superficial because you're not investigating. What?
I say it seemed to me it was deep up to a certain point, and then it became superficial at that point.
Of course.
Well, what point?
I can't point it out exactly, but there was a point.
There was a point when I said, do you see, in investigating, in yourself, do you see habit as the most dangerous thing? There you went off. Then you said, well, habit, I brush my hair, comb, I brush my... You discarded that. You said that's superficial. What? Right, sir? I've learnt an awful lot. Which is, I've investigated myself into myself as I was investigating. I said, am I the word, thought, image? We said is fear. My brain am I really doing this? Therefore I'm subtly, unknowingly, there is fear somewhere. So he said, is it a habit? And so on. I did it, actually. If you did it actually, not theoretically, you would come to the naturally to that point. That habit is the most dangerous thing. Therefore, you don't throw yourself under a bus. It's dangerous. All right, sir. You better stop. 2 hours is good enough. Did you follow it? Huh? Now, are you free from it? That's a, If you are not, you haven't really been in communication, and therefore you have not actually applied. You have just theoretically examined it.